Hello, it's Jonathan Wellham of Rocklinc Investment Partners, and it's May the 24th, 2018. Now, today we're going to go through our 7th installment talking about our new Rocklinc Partners Fund, and more importantly, really just highlighting some of the businesses and the sectors that we're investing in. And this applies whether it's the Rocklinc Fund or your segregated accounts, and that's why all of our clients actually are interested in learning more about the holdings that you see in your various accounts. And so let's just jump right into it. The first slide is the disclaimer, and the disclaimer comes with the legal requirements, as I think all of you know. And then the next slide just talks a little bit about the outline of the presentation, investment philosophy, and then we'll zero in on the sectors that we're investing in. Our overall investment philosophy is on the next slide, and you're all familiar with that. But again, just do this for context. We have all sorts of different viewers on these videos. And again, long-term disciplined investing. And then the next slide just talks about those investment principles. Safe assets, focused portfolios, taking medium to long-term holding periods, being very careful about the price that we're paying, so margin of safety, and then understanding the current economic environment. And then you see on the next slide our investment process, which is fairly straightforward when you consider that we're making long-term investments in companies. So again, you'll look at that if you so choose. You can stop the video and think about those points. Now, on the next two slides, we just highlight the 8 major sectors that we're invested in. And we've already talked about 5 of these sectors, and we're going to talk about 2 more today. And you can see infrastructure, we talked about that, financial, technology, manufacturing, and then last time we talked about precious metals, which is on the next slide. And below that you see healthcare, agriculture, and then water. And I just want to say a couple things about healthcare and agriculture today, and then we'll finish off with water in the near future. So on the next slide, we're going to zero right in on healthcare. Most people realize clearly healthcare is an interesting area to invest because you have an aging population and you have a lot of technological changes going on in the healthcare sector. So when you put those together, we've sort of broken this into 3 areas that we in particular are zeroing in on, and that would be medication management, so controlling medicines, pharmaceutical products, how they're monitored, how they get into people's bodies and so forth, making sure proper protocols are maintained that are consistent with what the drug companies are requiring and doctors are asking for. The second area is a whole area of life science, the development of drugs and vaccines and clinical treatments that deal with extending life expectancy, quality of life. And there's all sorts of different products and technologies coming at this whole market. And then the area of diagnostics, diagnosing the conditions and equipments and machine that's able to do the whole area of diagnostics as efficiently and cost effectively as possible, so you're not spending too much time or spinning your wheels figuring out what's going on in terms of the body. And so we focus in on companies in these 3 areas, and I'll talk about one in just a few moments. The next slide talks about another industry that we have a lot of money invested in, and that is agriculture. And of course that makes total sense because the most important aspect of life is food and water, and so we need to have a very strong and robust agricultural industry, and there's some great businesses in that space. And so when we look at agriculture, as we outline on this slide, it's necessary. Food's necessary, growing populations. We have an aging population, which helps the healthcare space, but we also have growing populations around the world that require more and more food. Better diets, as diets quality goes up, the demand for greater production of food and animals in terms of for food increases, and demands for more fertilizer, seeds, and so forth continue to go up. And then on the last point here on this first slide, to do with agriculture, you see that there's actually declining arable land. So we have this tension where we need more food. We have this stress from better diets that require more food production also, but less land. And so this whole issue of productivity is a major issue. And that's why, again, we're focusing on companies in that space. And then we actually have, in the case of agriculture, another slide because of looking at this industry. You can look at it in so many different ways in terms of different opportunities. Now would be the whole seeds business, which is a very important area in the development of certain types of seeds and resiliency. Crop protection is another very important area. Equipment, all of the equipment that farms and the agricultural industry uses, things like John Deere, for example, some of our clients have John Deere in their portfolio as an example of equipment. And also financing farms. We talked a little bit about input capital in one of our previous sessions under financial, but input capital, a small company, developing company, making some changes within its business format as we go, but really is becoming a major funder to the canola farmers in Canada and has some really unique things that are going on in that business. And in particular, they're now focusing on providing mortgages and providing capital for farmers in the canola space in Western Canada. And so the whole area of finance is important. Now on the next couple of slides, the next slide we just talked, you see BD and you see Nutrien, that's Becton Dickinson, and also Nutrien, which are the two of the companies that I'll just highlight very quickly. The first one is Becton Dickinson, and many of our clients have this in your portfolios. We also have it in the fund. This is a leading healthcare company, global medical technology company, provides care in so many different areas, including diabetes, medication management solutions, infection protection, surgical and intervention equipment in over 180 countries. It's an amazing global company. It's been growing at close to 20% a year in terms of stock price over the last 5 years. Very strong free cash flow generator, and you can see some of the competitive advantages that we've put down there. It's got leadership in medical surgical products, medication management, pharmaceutical systems, diabetes care. It's a very innovative company with tremendous global opportunities and global reach, and continues to innovate and also buy smaller companies that they can take those innovative products and then put them across their global platform and really develop tremendous synergies there. So Becton Dickinson is a wonderful healthcare company, an example of sort of businesses that we like to invest in. The next one is called Nutrien, and for many of our investors, you would know this as Agrium. And Agrium has been a leading agricultural company in Canada for many years, based in Calgary, global business. In fact, Agrium bought another company that we owned for investors many years ago called Viterra, so it's been a consolidator. And recently it bought Potash, which is really one of the largest companies in the whole potash and nutrient space out in Saskatchewan. And they renamed the company Nutrien. So that's what Nutrien is. So if you see a new company in your portfolio, you're going to say, well, what's Nutrien? Well, it's actually Agrium plus potash. Now, why do we own the company? You can see on the slide there, it's vertically integrated crop nutrition producer, marketer, enables farmers to meet the world's food supply demand. So Nutrien is one of the lowest cost producers of nitrogen, phosphate, and potash in the world. I think it's really probably the fourth largest agricultural company in the world now. And so it has major reserves in these very important ingredients that go into fertilizer. And so again, we need more food production, efficient food production. Fertilizers are critical to that, and they've got some of the best long-term supplies of the ingredients that go into fertilizer in the world. Also see it enjoys an established long-lasting relationships with farmers in North America, also in Australia, and it now has operations in a number of other countries around the world. And so this recent merger with Potash, which we just highlighted at the bottom of that slide, creates the largest crop nutrient company in the world. It holds the largest potash reserves in the world, and size and scale bring lower production costs and increased buying power, and a very solid balance sheet and strong free cash flow generation, which leads to actually a very attractive dividend. Dividend is close to 3% on the stock. And so we really like this company. We also have in some of our client portfolios John Deere Company, because of the equipment. We don't have them in the portfolio at this point in time. And we'll continue to look for companies in the healthcare space. We have Johnson & Johnson in some of your portfolios, and we'll continue to look for companies in the agricultural space, companies like Nutrient or companies like John Deere that are leaders in their particular segments of those particular industries. And so this is, again, another example of where we're investing, why we're investing, and the long-term opportunities are very attractive in the healthcare space and also in the agricultural industry. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email, call, or stop by the office. Thank you very much. Bye now.